Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. This one's going to be a little bit different, a little longer. I'm going to add a little bit of my own personal flair to this particular post because I think it's important. It's entitled, Are You Living in a War Zone and Just Not Know It Yet? Is 2022 for the USSA what 1917 was for the USSR? Personally, I've been having a hard time with the reality of the situation that most people are going to find themselves in the coming years. I've been keeping my eyes open and doing my homework, and it's pretty depressing to see the masses headed down the path they just can't seem to alter. There are many reasons: psychology, trauma, obedience, religious adherence to fiat money, to name a few. The following is a bit of my own therapy, and hopefully some of you can benefit from it. The implosion of the U.S. manufacturing continues, and the Philadelphia Fed report is an ominous sign for the end of an era that, as most Americans may be saying farewell to the middle class for good. The engineered destruction of the world economy by two-bit politicians, greedy financial experts, corrupt public-private partnerships, and lazy government bureaucrats is going to hit the middle class the worst. And the primary target is the dumbed down and divided citizenry of the USSA. The mainstream news hasn't said it yet, and although there are rumblings of trouble in the alternative media, there still isn't a pronounced main theme. The sad reality is most Americans have to be shocked repeatedly to simply get their attention. However, the evidence is overwhelming at this point that the end is near for the American dream, and freedom isn't really even a consideration for the future. Food, safety, and shelter are going to be the major desires going into the 2030s. Check out these issues for yourself looking into the coming years. Inflation is becoming a serious issue for people. I think everybody's clear that gasoline and diesel prices are on the upswing. Food as well, housing costs, insurance for housing, insurance for everything else, taxation and crime, maintenance, repairs and replacement costs, and of course, supply chain disruptions for small business. Saying goodbye to the 401k and your investments. I think it's again clear that the system is rigged against the masses, and most of them will never see their money. The majority are going to get fleeced while the rich get assets for pennies on the dollar. The stock market is a balloon that's ever being pumped by fiat and credit that is eventually going to burst in many directions. And unfortunately, for those of you that have money in the bank, what money? U.S. industries are also imploding or set to implode. The ignorance and stupidity of the business leaders in the U.S. and most of the Western world is unbelievable. Manufacturing in the U.S. is nearly wiped out. Nearly everything is being imported these days. Housing is another bubble. Commercial property is already sinking. Infrastructure everywhere is decaying. And with a credit freeze, you could say goodbye to private construction and all the associated businesses. Trucking industry is a bloodbath. 60 to 70% of the industry could be gone within the coming year. Transportation is about 10% of the workforce, by the way. But with lowering rates for freight while at the same time increasing cost, it's hard to run away from. Medicine as an industry is a joke. And the government sector, education being one of the primary portions of it, with plenty of useful idiots now, there's a waning need for educators. Prison, police, regulators, informants. One can wonder what morale will be like when retirements disappear and local and municipal governments go bankrupt. The service industry, another joke. And we've already visited the winter recently for the tech folks. Where is the U.S. military when freedom breaks down? Well, for the most part, gone. They've been washed out, and there are few good men. Morale is at an all time low. Obedience to whatever currency the government gives them is apparent. And every branch has its own F 35 pork barrel project. Weapon systems that can't deliver for exorbitant prices. But that indicates that most of the good commanders and strategic thinkers in the Pentagon have already left the building. Um, Preppers are threatening to be the new domestic terrorists. I think they're going to be replaced by the word hoarders. You just have to read the history that isn't in the government school books to figure out that this is something that's been a reoccurring theme throughout the centuries. The rise of mercenary armies, currently the U.S. government is recruiting ISIS fighters for Ukraine. I want to check out that report in my blog. I've got references to a lot of this information. Skills and talents. What basic skills do Americans possess these days? Might want to check out the skill gap widening. What entrepreneurial skills do Americans have? There's an entrepreneurial gap. How many people are losing their minds to medication, addictions, distractions? Might want to check those out. What have people been taught in schools for the past few decades? I don't even want to speculate on that one, but you know, I haven't been in the United States for 7 years, and from what I see on the news and in the YouTube videos and so forth, it's pretty scary. But here's the bottom line. Much of the modern world is about to go through a shock that they've never seen before. They've already gone through quite a bit with the COVID, but that was just phase one of 3 phases of the Great Reset. A great reset where you will own nothing and be happy, like prison. Most are not prepared for this. Most are already hanging on to reality by their fingernails. Those places where people have relied on governments and fiat wealth are about to get a rude awakening to just how corrupt their governments and corporations are. And again, number one on that list is the USSA, the most corrupted government ever. For those who have skills and abilities, it behooves you to move toward freedom and places that allow people the opportunity to take responsibility for themselves and their associations. Places and communities that have allegiances to valuable things other than fiat money and government power. This isn't about fear. This is about me encouraging you and you using your neocortex, evaluating the environment, the circumstances, and using reason to draw conclusions about the risks as well as the opportunities. I have a number of options I would recommend. All of them require your ability to understand real value versus fiat value. Take responsibility for yourself and your loved ones. Make difficult decisions. Commit to actions, then take action. It isn't an easy time. It's a time for those with courage, leadership, ethics, and organizational skills to take charge of their future and know that the generations to come will be affected by their choices and their dedication to intelligence over stupidity. Folks, it's a difficult time, and I really do wish you the best. Uh, I know that there's a lot of difficult things, and there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of reasons for misunderstandings and conflict. but there is also opportunity. There's a great deal of opportunity, and for you, I wish you the best. And if those things aren't going well for where you're at, I do have some suggestions, and certainly one of those is Acapulco. If you're having difficulty, there's always Acapulco. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Take care.